This program on NOTSTR8 TV is brought to you by Video Blocks. 7 days of free downloads, over 50,000 stock clips of video, backgrounds, music, and more. To get started, visit NOTSTR8.tv/video blocks. Sign up and get your 7 days of free downloads. NOTSTR8.tv/video blocks.
The following ingredients include a look behind the scenes. Cook uncovered until hot. Add grooves to taste.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
The accident was over a year ago. A second woman has been elected president. A 12th planet has been named in the solar system. The last wild polar bear has died. I slept through it all. I was here for my waking. He called it a beginning. He said it was good. I think he may have thought that anything I did was good.
Welcome to Transition Radio, live from Hollywood, Florida, with your host and hostess, Mark Angelo and Jessica Lynn Cummings. Show for trans folks, by trans folks, here to let your voice be heard. Well, good afternoon and welcome to Transition Radio TV, live from Hollywood, Florida. A show for trans folks, by trans folks, here to let your voice be heard. We're so very excited to be here this afternoon. And by the way, if you don't know who I am, my name is Mark Angelo Cummings, and I am a proud transgender man.
And my name is Jessica Lynn Cummings, a proud transgender woman.
Together, we are the Cummings.
We are the Cummings.
That's right, a trans couple who are in love, although sometimes we have, but we are in love, and we want to help you. We want to help educate and bring on acceptance about transitions and more. So, from radio to TV, you can see yourself.
Hey, look at that. See, now I can say, hey, how do I look?
That's right. Now you don't sound so blonde when you're on the radio.
No, you don't sound so blonde.
Right? You know, this is an amazing journey. Our whole meeting and everything else. I guess we should start by telling the viewers how we met.
So who should start this story off? Should it be me or you?
Go ahead, you go. Ladies first.
Okay, well, I was working in a bar, and I was bartending, and actually it was I think it was a Monday night? Was it a Monday?
No,
it was
I don't
Saturday night. No, that's right. It was
Friday
a Saturday night.
No,
it was Saturday, because two bartenders behind the bar on Saturday night. So this one walks in and gets a drink from the other bartender, and the line was all messed up. So he's like, immediately, whoa, what'd you do? Cut this line with a screwdriver? So I'm like, okay, another bitchy customer. Let me see how I can deal with this. I'm sorry, sir, can I get you another drink? And he's like, yeah, but when I looked at him, I was like, whoa, hubba. So basically, that's how it all kind of started, in a sense of speaking. I heard him talking to one of the partners in the business, and he was saying how he was transsexual, and my eyes got real wide, and I was like, wait a minute, with all that hair on your chest and on your face and everything like that, you're transsexual? Okay. Nope, turned off now. So I start cleaning the tables. He comes over and we start talking, and he says, he goes, hey, you're transsexual, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, well, when I transitioned in 2003, and then it was like again, and whoa, okay. so you're female to male? And he goes, yeah. And I said, okay, there is hope. Thank God. So we started laughing, and I told him what I thought, and we started talking, and it just kind of went from there. It's been a beautiful thing.
The rest is history. We haven't killed each other yet, although we have our
We've come close.
Very close. It's really funny how, they say man is from Venus and women are from Mars, or is it the other way around? I don't know. I'm Cuban, and I get all the sayings mixed up because the brain thinks Cuban sometimes. But if you look at the pictures here, there's the one on the right with the curly hair. That would be me. And the one on the left would be
me
as a male. So
as my former self.
Yeah. Well, I still believe. I mean, I believe in duality. I believe I'm a two-spirited person. That beautiful curly hair young lady that you guys saw in the picture still lives in my heart. You can't just kill someone just because you transition. I mean, I think the whole message behind this is to help people realize that there is a duality. As there is day, there is night. As there is white, there is black. And the sooner we learn to live in that yin and yang balance, the happier we're going to be. Mm-hmm. And I think transgender individuals are angelic individuals that came here to help with the evolution of the earth and mankind. But,
yes, good point. No, but if we go back to the picture and see me, who I used to be on the left, and having breasts, that's just kind of awkward.
Why is it awkward? I think we both looked.
Well, I think it looks more natural on the lower left picture, and then imagine the other way around here. I mean, on the right side.
I don't know. I think
you having all this and still having your girl body. I mean,
well, I wouldn't have all this if I had my girl body.
See? So there you go. Case in point.
What case in point were you making? I'm confused, folks. I live my life confused when I live with Jessica. It's like, okay, another blonde moment.
This is how confusing it can be.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about how transition radio came to be.
Okay.
All right, and there she goes, nodding her earpiece again.
Yeah,
anyway, I'll start talking about how it started. We actually, Jessica created a page called the Cummings for Trans Support, and we started seeing the need of the trans community wanting to interact with one another and really feeling safe, because there's a lot of groups out there, but there's not a lot of safe groups. And there's not a lot of groups that really allow people to voice themselves, because there's a lot of judgment within the trans community, believe it or not. Exactly. I mean, you got the elite transsexuals that think that unless you have hormones and get surgery and do the whole 9 yards, you're not transsexual. And I think that's furthest from the truth. I think there's a spectrum. So anyway, before I start rambling, the Cummings for Trans Support then became the idea for the radio show. We thought, hey, why don't we get a radio show together? We get people to call in, voice their opinions.
See if we can make a Facebook group actually interactive.
Exactly. And then it was Transition Radio Facebook group, closed group, and we've done a lot. And the website that Jessica's worked very hard on, and it's got chat, it's got a forum, and all sorts of different links and information.
Still a work in progress.
Yes, we're still working on it, but it's a start. And then we met Joe and decided to do the Transition Radio TV. So now not only do you get to hear us, but you get to see us.
You get to see our ugly mugs.
That's right.
Hey.
And hopefully we get things going where we get people calling in. You don't have to show your mug, so don't be afraid. Your voice will be the only one heard. And there's Joe.
There's Joe.
On the scene.
Hey, Joe.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Great.
I'm glad to have you guys here. Most definitely.
We're glad to be here.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
This is better than radio because you get...
Because it's more interactive.
Exactly.
This is what we're looking for. Interaction.
Indeed.
Yeah, and that's the thing I love about television. It's just especially on the web there too. It's like this show, for example, online can get a great following, but it's not something you would ever see on television.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, exactly. I mean, and hopefully things change in the future there. But I'm definitely glad to have you guys here. And
oh, definitely. You never know about TV when they start seeing something good. They all of a sudden get this aha moment, and then it's like, this might work. So you never know.
Exactly.
I never say
gotta
think big.
The spark. Yeah,
that's always been my motto.
But I think broadcasting like this is like the future of television.
Oh yeah, internet
Oh,
television is
definitely.
going
Yeah.
to be the way of the future for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm definitely glad to have you guys here and continue on with your great show.
Thank you so much, Joe.
So, we wanted to talk a little bit of the effects on hormones on transgender individuals.
Yes.
And there's a lot of transgender out there that are too quick to want to get on hormones, or too quick to want to create changes without knowing the ramification of these changes. We're going to talk first about the beautiful thing that happens when you're on hormone. Okay, if you're on testosterone and you're a female and wanting to transition into male, hormones will lower your voice, as you hear mine, very low. It would also create facial hair, but now you got to remember one thing. It all depends on your genetics. I've received emails in the past, people asking me, well, you know, how much is your dose? How come you have all this facial hair and all this body hair? Well, it's genetics. If your father, grandfather, and so forth and so on wasn't gifted with a full beard, then most likely you're not going to. So don't keep upping your dose thinking that the more you take, the better. No, because the more you take, the more danger you're putting yourself in.
That's the same thing with estrogen for male to females. You know, more is not better. More is not going to make you grow breasts faster. It's not going to make you lose weight. It's not going to do anything. In fact, it could actually have adverse effects. In other words, you know, whereas instead of toning down the hair growth on your body, face, etc., it could make it start growing back faster, because, as we all know, that too much of any one hormone converts to the other.
Well, it's because the body's trying to create what we call homeostasis, which means balance, and it's only trying to protect you. It's like the trans guys that take too much testosterone, or even bodybuilders, what happens is the body automatically starts to produce estrogen.
Exactly.
And then estrogens have a lot of side effects.
That's why bodybuilders, male bodybuilders, have to take a thing called, I think it's Clomid,
Yes.
to stop from, as they so-called, getting bitch tits.
Yeah, or gynecomastia to make it more
Yes.
appealable for TV here. But yes, it's wonderful things. The changes are tremendous. I mean, your entire facial structure changes, your nose changes, your ears changes, you lose all your hair. And again, if you're not prone to hair loss, then that's not going to happen to you. My father's very much bald, so here you go. There's yeah, no, right?
Make a wish and it'll come true.
Isn't that like the tummy with a Buddha? And
Oh
the
yeah,
head, or is it
that's
the other way
right.
around?
Okay, yeah, that's the tummy thing.
But you know, there are timelines for the changes that take place. Just think about puberty. When you are, I don't know, when does it start taking place? Around 14 years old or 15 years old?
Depends. With all the hormones in the food today, it's obviously a lot earlier for most girls and boys.
That's another show topic, but yeah,
yes,
definitely. I'd like to say around 14 or 15 years old, when you start noticing the cracking of the voice, and then slow changes start to take place where the voice starts to deepen, you start to break out. I broke out horrifically. Actually, I broke out more during my transition to becoming a man than I did when I went through puberty as Maritza. Well, Maritza was my female name, if you must know. And I don't know, the hairs just started sprouting all over the place. I mean, I started to worry there. I was like, okay, is it ever going to stop? I mean, hair in my back, hair everywhere. I mean, my neck with my hairline just meets as one. You know, it's like I must have been some sort of...
If they can only invent a medication to do that to your head.
I know, but that ain't going to work.
Chia-fro.
Yeah, that would be nice, but it's not going to happen. Anyway, let's stop rambling here. We're going to go ahead and show you a video that shows you the fabulous transition that takes place. This week, we're going to show you a male to female, and next week we'll like to have what we call transition of the week. And you take a look at this video, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and it's going to show you the before and afters. Like I said, the changes are not as rapid as some of us would like it to be, but they do take place. Most of the MTFs have to wear a wig. Cute hat. that seems to be her natural hair growth.
That was from 4 months.
Yeah. Some people do transition a lot quicker than others. Their effects. Also, if you guys want us to share your transition video, feel free to send it to us at either markangelo.cummings@yahoo.com
or Jessica Lynn Cummings@yahoo.com.
We'll be glad to share your transition.
Definitely.
You start seeing the changes in the feature in the face a lot softer.
And a lot of times these changes in MTFs usually take about a year.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, it is. And it's a great feeling, too.
You're creating the person that you want to see in the mirror. And you see the before and after, dramatic change, dramatic change. There's a lot of changes that take place, and a lot of emotional. I know when I transitioned, I started. There was a lot of changes in what I liked, disliked, in foods, and the way I thought. So it's not just an external change, but there's also a lot of emotional. It's harder for me to cry now on testosterone.
Well, also for the FTMs versus the MTFs, as far as hormones is concerned, the changes, the effects, it's easier to bring on the secondary characteristics than it is to actually make them go away.
You want to say it's easier to make Eve into Steve than go to make Steve back into Eve, because once you
yes,
those,
exactly.
Yeah, those androgenic effects, it's harder to get rid of them. But you know, what I've seen with you and what I've seen with a lot of the transitions lately from male to female is that there is a dramatic change. Before, I never used to think that there could actually be, but I've seen it in you, and it's amazing how the skin changes.
Yeah.
I have to say there's only one negative that I really don't like about male to female is your emotions, a roller coaster ride.
This is the problem.
It's like living with somebody with PMS 24/7.
It is not 24/7 in
Close enough.
No,
Close
it's
enough.
not.
It's like,
no, it's not.
I could say something to her when she's not PMSing, and we don't fight. Now, if she's PMSing and I say something that's like, okay, I should have probably held on to that for another day.
Everything used to be about the battle of the sexes. This is for women. This is for men. Now it's a battle of the hormones when it comes to transsexuals.
But it's so true.
Testosterone, estrogen, testosterone, estrogen.
Yeah, it is an amazing feeling, and there's a lot of people with a lot of questions out there, not only people that are trying to transition, but also those that love us and the people that are curious. I mean, we get stopped in the street all the time, and whenever
people ask us,
because
people ask us, why would you go through this?
They're curious. They're very curious about the whole change. They're even curious about our bedroom life, but that'll be on another show.
They can't wrap their heads around that one yet. Yeah. But, I mean, it's like people used to ask me, like you were saying. People used to ask me all the time, you know, why would you do something like this? Why would you go through these major changes? Well, you see, I had this job where they were going to make me cut my hair, and this was the only way I could keep it.
Good answer.
I know, right?
It's funny, because I had a business called Bodies Under Construction, salon and personal training studio. And when I started transitioning, I kind of warned all my clients. I said, you know, you're going to start seeing changes in me. Have you guys heard what transsexuals is or gender dysphoria? And they're kind of puzzled and confused. So I had to explain to them. And I said to them, you're going to start seeing facial hair. You're going to start seeing changes in my voice. Don't get scared. I'm not possessed or anything. But most people were pretty cool about it. And then they were very curious about it. And they would ask me questions. And I think humanity is evolving. There's still a lot of people that don't get it, and there's still a lot of discrimination, even within the GLBT community itself. I mean, transsexuals discriminate against one another. A lot of the GBL also they discriminate. And
well, it all boils down to because somebody doesn't want to go on hormones, or somebody can't go on hormones because of medical reasons, and they're just not trans enough, is a lot of these elitist attitudes, and it's ridiculous because each person is their own individual self.
Exactly.
Whether you can go on hormones or not, you know, be who you are. That's all it's about. That's what everything entails. That's why we do what we do, because it's about bringing ourselves into one with ourselves.
Well, that's true, and again, a lot of people don't understand. It's like, why would you want to, you know, remove your breasts, or why would you want to remove certain things? Well, there are individuals that have major dysphoria of their genitals, and one of the things I learned through the years that, you know, you could work through that dysphoria in a sense, and you are who you are. You can't identify with what your genitals are. I realized I was never going to have a real, I don't know if I can say this word, penis. Can I say the word penis here, Joe?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I'm never going to have one, or one that looks worth anything, so...
You can also say vagina.
Vagina, okay, good.
You can swear, don't worry about it. This is the internet. This ain't the FCC coming down on us, you know, so don't worry about what you say.
That's a good thing about internet.
We went from trans sex education to sex education.
Yeah. Anyway, just because I don't have a penis doesn't make me less of a man. And, you know, it's like I've learned to live with the fact that, you know, I'm happy with who I am today. I love myself fully. I embrace both my sides. And I think that's one of the quests with Transition Radio, is to help people love themselves, realize how important they are, that they're not any less because their brain did not match their genital, that to think of this as a gift, not as some sort of burden or some sort of curse. And I believe transsexual individuals are very gifted. They're very creative. And if they take all that anger away and all that hurt, and they really tap into their inner light, into their inner love, they're going to grow tremendously as an individual. And they're going to help the rest of humanity grow as well. So let's talk a little bit more about the dilemmas we face on hormones. There's a lot of health issues. I noticed that one of the things with me right away was an increase of blood pressure. My blood pressure used to be before 110 over 60. I started taking hormones and it shot up to 150 over 90, sometimes even higher. If I got upset, it would just, my ears would get flaming red, my face, and I would feel really sick. I thought I was going to stroke out. So I learned to do things to help prevent that, and I'll talk about prevention stuff after I talk about the dilemmas.
Certain vitamins that we should all take.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I want to also talk about, besides breaking out, there's a lot of issues with sometimes sleeping, anxiety. I noticed that I would always feel like my heart was, what's the word I'm looking for, speeding up really quickly. And I think it's because our blood gets very thick when you're on testosterone. So you're looking at just all sorts of different issues. Your kidneys and your livers could be tremendously affected. And what
low dose aspirin regimen?
Well, not yet. You're getting the horse before the
no,
whatever.
I'm not.
Talk about the dilemmas in
and estrogens. Estrogens is the mood swings is one. Yes. we definitely do go through PMS, and people are like, whoa, wait a minute, you were born male, so how the hell can you go through PMS? Well, it's simple. We obviously don't ovulate, but we get the same symptoms. I mean, the fatigue, the energy loss, the feeling of weakness, the emotional breakdowns, you name it. It's exact. I mean, you being a woman before, you tell me.
Yeah, but at least when I was a woman, I only had it like 3 or 4 days in a month.
Oh, come on. I only have it 4 or 5 days, okay? 4 or 5 days out of the month.
Do you have to yell?
Every couple of weeks.
This is all they put. Yelling 24/7. It's like, honey, is there something you could take to make the hormones kind of like drop?
No.
No.
If there was, maybe I would, but who knows?
So anyway, everything is not candy cane and flowers when you take hormones. There are a lot of side effects, and the list goes on and on. Actually, there's some people that can't even take the hormones because they will become very ill. So I highly suggest, do not self-medicate. You definitely need to go
and see a doctor.
See a doctor, first your gender specialist, make sure that you do have gender dysphoria, and then get monitored by an endocrinologist to make sure that everything is okay in the body.
Not to mention that, again, overdoing the hormones can cause adverse effects. So not having a doctor in the loop of everything, really you want to do it right, go through a doctor.
Definitely. I mean,
I started self-medicating, and believe me, it was very difficult when I transitioned from self-medicating to going to a doctor. And it was like the toughest month and a half of my life. So,
yeah, there's just, you don't, as much as you want to be in the gender that you feel you want to be in and that you identify as, what good is it if you're going to be dead or sick? I mean, I've known a lot of trans guys have had to stop taking tea because they got dramatically sick. And you know what? Your health is the most important thing in the world. There's nothing else more important than your health. Because without it, you got nothing. And you talk to people that have cancer, that are very ill, that, without health, you have absolutely anything. So there are things that they can do to try to minimize a lot of these side effects.
And what are those?
Okay, well, diet is one of those important things. Eat healthy. If you start eating very fatty foods, very high sugary foods with high corn fructose,
and all you on estrogen know that you start eating like that. Boom.
Well, besides that, I mean, weight gain is something awful, but
big time.
But there's a lot of things that you want to prevent, like the blood pressure, for instance. It's a silent killer. I mean, you don't know when all of a sudden your blood pressure goes very high, although I always had the reddening of the ear, and I would hear like the strange high-pitched noise, and I knew, oh, my blood pressure's up. So I started taking hawthorn berry, and that's an over-the-counter medication. It's not even a medication, it's a supplementation, an herb, and that has kept my blood pressure to normal because I will not take prescribed medication. Now, I'm an occupational therapist and a certified nutritional consultant, but I highly suggest you consult with your doctors. That's a disclaimer that I have to say. I do take on clients to help them through their nutrition and through guiding them through many things from psychological to spiritual to wellness and health. But it's always good for you to check with your own doctor. There's another herb that I take called milk thistle, and that helps with your liver because your liver takes a major toll when you put anything synthetic. I also take bioidentical testosterone. I don't take the synthetic. I took the synthetic for years, and I noticed that it made me even sicker. Hey, if you guys have questions, we have a number for you to call, and the number is 214-306-7878. Again, that's 214-306-7878, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. What other, let's see, milk thistle.
Milk thistle is good because, obviously all the medications that we are taking, especially taking oral, gets filtered through the liver. And milk thistle is a natural...
well, it helps your liver cleanse and it helps your liver heal. Also, lots and lots of water. Water is something you definitely want to drink a lot of to help your body flush. Stay away from high amounts of alcohol. Alcohol puts strain on your liver as is, so if you're on hormones and you're drinking a lot, you're asking for a bruising.
Exactly.
Eating a lot of fruits and greens will alkalinize your body. A lot of high-protein foods create acidity, which brings on cancer. When you're on hormones, you're prone to getting a lot of tumors, and a lot of those tumors can be cancerous.
Baby spinach is my favorite.
Yeah. Actually, she's learned how to eat very well since we've been together.
Yes, thanks to my personal nutritionist.
Yeah. It's important. I mean, you want
I feel so much better.
You want to transition, but you want to be healthy while you're transitioning. What's the use of, now I'm a man, but I'm going to die in 2 weeks?
Or now I'm a woman, and God, that's my biggest fear is breast cancer. Because it's, something I've wanted all my life is breast, and, imagine having to go through all this to transition to get them, and then have to have them taken away because, you do something stupid. And
that's why you should quit smoking.
Yeah, okay.
But
another topic for another show.
Yeah, but men do get breast cancer too. It's not just a women's thing, and especially with all the hormones in food and all the stress and all the chemicals in the air, we are prone to getting more and more diseases than before.
Being MTF, this was from my doctor. From their statistics is breast cancer is more prominent in a male to female transsexual by 20%. So our risk of getting breast cancer is 20% higher than that of your average female.
And the reason is because you're on synthetic hormone. That's why I highly recommend bioidentical, because it cuts down the risks. There's 1 out of 3 women will actually develop breast cancer. I mean, that's pretty high. So if you guys are in 20%, that's like playing
20% higher. That's pretty
sad.
Pretty bad odds.
We want to talk about the different types of hormones there are. And Joe, roll a picture. We've got, let's see what picture's going to put up there first for me. Joy, are you there? Ah, there we go. The injectables, you know, you've got, actually this kind of looks like growth hormone, which I did a lot when I was a female bodybuilder. A lot of the guys asked me how did I create my changes so quickly, and I think as I took growth hormone while I was bodybuilding. So when I added testosterone, it just kind of like created a major surge of chemical, and I had very, very favorable changes take place. Okay, Joe, the next one. And we've got, that's our depot testosterone. Testosterone usually comes in 200 milligrams. There, it's the cypionate, which is the one that's usually prescribed. You've got several types, you know, the 250 sustanon, which I don't like, it's just a little too high. And you got the propionate, and you've got the ethionate. The propionate is more water-based, and you have to inject more often. I don't recommend that for HRT. Ethionate is, that's all right. I've been taking cypionate for the longest time, and again, mine is bioidentical. And then we've got, let's see the next picture there, that's andro gel. I tried that for a while because I got so tired of injecting. I mean, imagine, I've been transitioning for the past 10 years. Injecting every week. I mean, you get to the point where you feel like a pincushion, you know, and you get tired of it. So I tried this andro gel for a while. I didn't like it. One of the reasons I didn't like it, it would bug my eyes, something with the fumes, and I had to be careful with my then ex-wife. I didn't want her to get any of the stuff on her, and all of a sudden started growing a beard. That would have been weird. The two bearded.
Well, they also have estrogen in a gel form like this as well. It's a topical estrogen. You know, so very small amounts are recommended.
And it's good once you reach the level that you want to reach. I don't recommend this for beginning.
No.
You know, if you're beginning your transition, this is going to take forever. This gives you an actual steady dose, daily dose that you need. But I don't recommend it for initial. And it's rather expensive compared to a vial. I get my bioidentical vial for $75, and that lasts me up to 4 or 5 months. I sometimes inject 125, 100, depending. I just kind of listen to my body. The doctors recommend 200 milligrams for me. I think that's way too much. I think any excess will convert to estrogen. I don't have my ovaries or anything like that, so I don't need that major amount. But this is pretty good if you could afford it, and you don't have to worry about letting somebody rub next to it and feel, you know, guilt that they all of a sudden started growing a beard. And then there's the
next one should be the S.
Yeah, this is
actually birth control, which is the same thing as estradiol. The only difference I think between the birth control and the estradiol is that the actual compound within the pill itself, there's more estrogen in estradiol, straight estradiol, than there is in the actual birth control pill. So basically this is what brings on the female characteristics in us male to females. Also a lot of the estrogen, and this is the same kind of HRT for us, is kind of the same type of HRT for you know, cisgendered women that go through menopause, to try to level their playing field off a little bit. And then,
although they've improved, because the pill has a lot of side effects and it's not as good.
Yes, it does.
There's a new type of estradiol out now that doesn't have as much of the side effects. The research that I did recently.
And then we have the epidermal, which is a patch that is applied, and usually this contains lower doses of estradiol instead of the oral aspect of everything. This can be hidden on a spot on your buttocks in the back, lower back. And, you know, again, these you change usually every 3 days, depending on the dosage and the recommendation from your doctor.
And that also comes for FTMs, for testosterone. It's both hormone can be applied. Actually, there's many different other means. There's also pellets, which I don't have a picture for, but the pellets go in. And it's almost like a time release. And I'm assuming
like an implant.
It's like an implant, yeah. And I think they have that for both male and female. And I think that's actually would be a good thing because it keeps you level. See, the bad thing about any kind of synthetic or even the bioidentical administration of a hormone, and because we don't have testicles, our bodies does not know how to give us that time release.
Right, exactly.
You know, so when you inject, you're going to get this major surge. You're going to feel like Tarzan, the monkey, sex drive out of this world. And then as the week starts going down, the testosterone level just starts to drop.
And that's the same thing with the estrogen. Like I take estradiol 3 times a day. So basically, I'm taking 3 separate pills a day. But you know, there's no, even if I take it right at the right times, it's no specific science that I'm giving my body that even flow of estradiol. So with bioidentical, they can actually compound it. They take out the synthetic compounds and they put natural compounds where you get more estrogen from the medication, and they can also do the capsules time release so that it releases as you need the estrogen, which is actually better.
I think
you don't have those spikes.
I think so, because those spikes create a lot of problems. I mean, your body is going, what are you doing to me? One minute you're here, the next minute you're there. And I think also that's the major reason you guys get a lot of the hormonal swings.
The mood swings.
The mood swings, yes, because, you know, your body, it's this whole transgender thing is very new. I mean, back in the day, we've been around since ancient time, but difference between them and us is they
medical
just
and science.
Yeah, medical and science all of a sudden found a way to make money. It's like, oh yeah, we can make Franco vagina and Franco burrito penis and make lots of money and all sorts of stuff. But you know,
that's what it's usually all about, money.
Yeah, money. And it's, you got to be careful. You have to really know that this is what you want to do, and no judgment. I mean, we're all in different paths in our journey. Don't regret what I did, but if I would have known what I know today yesterday, would I have done this? Probably not. I think I would have been happy just being myself and realizing that, you know, I was born to spirit and I was born to be this way, and why should I have to conform into the gender box?
Exactly.
And we find out, and everyone has to go through this. You know, you go through different stages, you know, denial of this, that, and the other, until you come to the realization that you are who you are, and I love myself for whoever I am. And I didn't need to do this to love myself. And it's been a tremendous journey. Like I said, I have no regrets.
Do you touch yourself?
Do I touch myself? What do you mean?
Just had to throw you off there.
Oh, you had to throw me off. Okay, she was doing that. Yeah, but it's not for everyone. So make sure you guys really are ready to dive in, because once you're in the pool, it's either swim or sink. You can't take it back. Once you put these hormones in your body, you're going to deal with health issues. Once you have the surgeries, there are always going to be some sort of problems. Like to this day, after my hysterectomy, to go to the bathroom is a science project. I can't think while I pee at the same time. And you think that's funny? It's not. You're trying to pee in a hurry, and I'm like, okay, don't talk to me. Just let me concentrate. Because sometimes, because they create a lot of scar tissue, they move things around. I mean, my vagina, I birthed my vagina. If you can even imagine that. They did a laparoscopy thing, whatever you call it, and it's wasn't pretty. I have a lot of scar tissue. There's a lot of pain. There are times when I lift something wrong. I've actually developed a hernia from the surgery. The mastectomy, there are times I can't lay on my stomach because anytime there's a lot of pressure on my chest, there's pain. And it's been, I mean, my surgeries were in December of 2003. So it stays with you. You're not the same ever again. You're changing the quality of life, although you think, okay, well, now you're aligned, you feel good, yeah, but there's other ramifications. And once you get to the point where I am, you think of life a little differently. And I think that's one of the reasons we want to do this show. We want to show the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we want people to express themselves. And again, no judgment whatsoever.
None at all. Because we all have our different stages of transition and where we want to be. So.
Exactly. Well, we're going to change the tune a little bit. Halloween's, what is it, Wednesday?
Yeah, I think so. October 31st, yeah.
You know, there are a lot of feminine boys being born. Again, it's all due to this hormonal craziness that we have in the world. You know, when women piss and are on birth control, that water gets recycled, and there's a lot of excess hormones in our food supply, in our water, in our air, and everything we do. So
that's why you see 13-year-olds with C-cup breasts. You know, it's
an amazing. But some of these beautiful, I love to call them beautiful, because kids nowadays are very indigo, very crystal. They have such insight. They're so innocent and sweet till we corrupt them. And we wanted to, in the spirit of Halloween, we wanted to show this
kind of
funny video in a sense, but well, you be the judge of that.
Yeah,
roll them, Joe.
parent of an overly feminine little boy, choosing the right Halloween costume is crucial for avoiding humiliation during your family's trick-or-treat outings. Luckily, our next guest is here to help us tackle this difficult problem head-on. Jim?
Thanks, Trace. This is Anna Stevenson, author of Actually He's a Boy, a how-to manual for parenting an effeminate male child. Good to see you this morning, Anna.
Thanks for having me,
I'm
Jim.
actually very excited to talk to you today because when my nephew, Derek, turned 8, he started acting giggly all the time. My brother is beside himself. He's afraid to let him out of the house, let alone on a night when everybody's dressing up.
Right, well, a lot of parents feel that way,
Yeah.
Jim. But unless you lock him in the house, you run the risk that the lady boy will sneak out on his own, dressed as a ballerina. And you'll find him pirouetting on somebody's front porch with the whole neighborhood watching.
Oh, the worst nightmare.
But the good news is, with a little creativity, we can disguise your girly son as a normal kid.
Well, show us how to do that,
Come
Anna.
on out, Travis.
Oh, looks like we have a little soldier man here.
This is Travis. Say hello, Travis.
Hello, Travis.
Travis has a gun and a threatening knife there. But if you want your child to depict a male-dominated profession, be very careful not to choose one that's been co-opted by the gay community, like a fireman, a cop, a cowboy.
Good point.
Otherwise,
Right.
they'll just end up looking like a stripper.
Right, exactly.
Now let's take a look at Ben.
Ben, come on out.
The world of science fiction is a great place to look for fearsome, violent characters.
Right. So you're a scary robot, huh?
I guess so.
This is also a good costume for what I call a prancer.
A prancer.
A son who skips delicately instead of just walking. Ben, take a few steps.
Well, look at that. Problem solved.
I want to be a pastry chef, but she would have
Oh,
let
look
me
at this feature.
Oh, now that's a good option.
Yeah, especially if you're losing control of the situation. Here we
Okay.
go. Next we have Lance.
Oh, hey, how you doing in there, big head?
Lance has long lashes and an almost compulsive habit of twirling his curly blonde hair around his finger.
Oh, well, not anymore with that head, right?
I'm a big husband.
Yes, you are,
The
aren't
big
you?
head also muffles his list.
Oh, well, maybe that's the costume for my nephew then.
Could be.
That's a great idea.
Now we have Christian.
Blah.
Now, is a vampire really the right choice here?
Yes, well, vampires are flashy dressers, but it's all in the service of seducing a woman.
Ah,
They're virile
okay.
and
Right.
dangerous, but here's what I want to show you.
Yeah.
By using copious amounts of blood, we have sissy-proof this costume.
Oh, now that's a very menacing-looking costume. Very masculine.
It happens
Slippery, yeah.
sometimes, sweet. Go ahead, okay.
Well, that's really neat. Now, I hope you parents at home who have faggy acting little boys have been taking notes. We've got a
Acting
lot of
little
good advice here.
I'd
Now
say.
we're going to head back over to Tracy, who's going to show us how effective trick-or-treating can feed your entire family for a week.
And the whole sad part about this is that, a lot of parents are this way.
Yeah,
And it's ridiculous.
I know, it's
just
like-
let your kids be who they are.
They don't realize the amount of medical bills, psychological bills they're going to have to go through. I mean, a child, I studied child psychology in my profession, and there are children that go through certain phases, and they grow out of it, but yet there are others that is who they are.
Exactly.
Whether you are a gay male or whether you are a transgender individual, you've got to allow people to be. You can't knock it out of you. You can't beat it out of you.
You're not going to grow out of it.
Have the exorcist come in and do the homie hoagie to get it out of you. It is, you are who you are.
Exactly.
And what parents could do is be loving, supportive parents, allow their child to be mentally healthy, because what do you want? A feminine child that's a space cadet because of all the stuff that you've done to it?
Like me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was told from the time I was a little kid, because I was very masculine the way I walked and whatever, and all my aunts used to tell my mom she's going to be a lesbian. It's like at 3 years old, you don't know what sexuality you have. You're just being yourself. I used to like to play with cars.
I had the same thing. I had family members that would sit there and turn around and say that I was going to be gay, or I was going to be, that old famous word of fag.
This world would be a much better place if we were all happy and gay.
Exactly.
I mean, we wouldn't have these wars. You'd be like, what wars? Let's go dance and all that good stuff. Let's
just live life. Have fun. Be who you are. It doesn't matter. Love who you want to love. Give your heart to who you want to give your heart to. It doesn't matter, because it's all about finding that right person to walk through the gates at the end of this whole thing.
You wanted to say the pearly gates.
I was going to say the pearly gates, yeah, but not sure. We might just walk through a porthole and end up in
God knows where.
In God knows where. So,
It's amazing to me that you bring a child to this world. I mean, you, as a parent, they usually plan, unless it's an unplanned pregnancy, but majority of parents do plan to bring forth this loving child that they are going to protect and love. And all of a sudden, they start judging this precious little being that they brought into this world out of their love and joy. And now they're going to break their spirit. They're not going to let the child be who the child wants to be. Instead, they're going to program him to be what society wants them to be. And to give credit to parents, I think a lot of them, they're afraid of what we have to go through. The ridicule, the pain, the hurt.
Well, I think they're more worried about themselves than their children. How is everybody going to look at me if I got a son that walks around in a dress?
Some parents do. Some parents
most parents, I would say a good 90% are more worried about their own image than they are about their child's happiness.
Well, because they automatically think that we are an extension of them. However my child acts is how people are going to judge me, and it's not necessarily so. You bring into the world a child, you don't own it, it does not belong to you. You try to keep it away from trouble, you try to keep it in the boundaries where they could grow healthily, but you don't try to dictate to that child how you want it to be, because that child has his own mind. Even though he's a kid, they still think, and they still are capable of making decisions, and you should allow them as a parent to do that so they could grow up to be healthy adults.
And be able to make their own decisions. I mean, you make the decisions for the child as they're growing up their whole life. They're never going to be able to decide for themselves what they want.
Yeah, exactly. And
so, you know, it's more, you're more disabling and crutching them than you are anything else.
You know, I want to say also that although there's a lot of biological reasoning for us to be the way we are, whether we're lesbians, gay men, bisexual, or transgender, there's to me there's a spiritual connection to all this, and I believe in reincarnation, and I believe in returning back to life when you didn't get rid of the baggage that you should have the first time around. I don't believe we're just born to then die and then goodbye, that's it. I mean, what would be this whole cycle of suffering, living and dying, and suffering, living and dying if there wasn't a reason behind it? I mean, it would have to be some narcissistic God to have created a world like this. You know, and I don't really want to get into the whole biblical Bible.
I think it's Narcissus or Markangelo.
There's got to be something more to life than what we see today. And I believe that we're here. We are spirits having a human experience to learn, to grow, and evolve. And I truly believe that gay men, lesbian, transgender individuals, we've had many lifetimes. We're old souls. And that's why, you know, sometimes after have lived, let's say, 50 lifetimes, and you've been both male and female, you know, then all of a sudden you're like us, we get confused, like, oh God, we've had so many lifetimes. Am I a male this time around? Am I a female? I mean, I don't know. But there's something deeper, something spiritual. And I think we as humans need to focus less on the materialistic world, on the outer world, and start really focusing a little bit more about your inner spirit. Worry about, instead of growing your breast, about growing your spirit.
For yourself, okay?
Well, I got rid of mine. This is a very interesting picture here. And actually, I wrote a book called The Mirror Makes No Sense, and I wish I would have seen this picture back then. It would have been an excellent cover. Yeah. And you're seeing, you know, the individual on the top with the burgundy towel. She's putting on her makeup, and in fact,
the reflection she's seeing is actually something totally different than who she really is.
Exactly, and vice versa on the bottom. And, you know, the mirror is very misleading in many cases. I've learned that to get rid of the mirror is probably one of the best things, because unfortunately, we humans, we look at everything with our five senses. Our sight, our taste, our hearing. Instead of looking within our inner light, looking at the world in a different perspective and not through our five senses. And I believe that once we get to that point, we will be much happier.
Exactly, and I think this is a great picture. Can you bring that back up for 1 second, Joe? There we go. If you look at the picture, okay, my whole life, I felt like the top photo.
Right.
That who I was standing there in the burgundy towel on my head, but when I looked in the mirror, that's what I saw. And seeing that was all a lie to me. And it was like, you know, that's what caused a lot of my issues down the line. And I'm sure the bottom one...
You use your hands a lot when you're talking.
Yes, I do.
I thought you were going to knock over the camera and they're like pointing. They can't see you pointing at the thing. I just got a little cursor.
I'm not pointing. I'm just moving my hands. I got to point out everything.
Oh, she's always pinching my thing or pulling my hairs. You know, if somebody wants a new wife, you got to get her away. Anyway.
Get me now on eBay.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Starting bid.
Yeah, I need some money. So yeah, let's they used to do that in the old days, you know. They used to sell wives and get money for it.
Good. Well, they don't do that today in modern times.
Maybe we should bring that back.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Next.
But yes, we need to focus less on the outer and focus more on the inner. Because when you're happy within, totally within, then the outer really doesn't make much difference anymore.
Exactly.
And it's an evolution. It's an evolution that we humans will eventually get there. Now, on a lighter note again, I know we go through these lighter notes and these sad notes. There's all these really great commercials for with transgender individuals in them, and you know, there's this one. Is it from France, right?
No, Italy.
Italy.
It's actually a like kind of like a vodka or
no, it's Capri, some sort of
Camari or something like that.
It's red, so it couldn't be vodka. When has vodka been red?
Hello, cranberry juice and vodka. It's showing.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll have to see.
We'll see, but you know, you can't really judge a book by its cover, and this was very well done, great taste, and you guys gonna check this out. We really were taken by this particular video. It's almost like love at first sight. Oh wow, I want some of that.
Oh, it's like a champagne.
See, I told you it wasn't vodka.
You were right, as always. Whatever.
She admitted it on TV. My God, can I believe this?
Don't get used to it.
So like, where did she go? I want that lady. Come here. Oops.
Campari, red passion.
Right, yeah. What a commercial. I mean, it would have been the perfect ending for that. Would have been they would have ended in a
piscine or something like that. Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful.
Very good commercial.
I'd love to do something like that.
Definitely.
A commercial like that.
Definitely, but you don't have enough hair on your head to do that commercial.
Well, but there's wigs.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but then what do I do with all? Oops. What do I do with all this?
Talk about me.
Hairy chest there. You know, can't hide that one very well. Well, let's see here. We're having little technical difficulty.
Yeah, that's okay.
Actually, I don't know if no one calls in. I think we're pretty much could call this a wrap. We've enjoyed the show. I hope you've enjoyed it, Joe.
First show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, you guys have done a great job here. I'm very, very impressed with how you guys have done it. No, seriously.
We've had it's very much a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and we enjoyed doing it.
And that's why I didn't want to script it. I just wanted an outline because I think it flows a lot better.
Yeah.
You know, and since it's interactive, so next week we'll definitely find some more fun material, and hopefully we'll get more people calling in because I think that's the key. Probably try to get a guest next Sunday.
And the chat room loves you here too. Well, at least somebody in the chat room loves you there. So
you guys rock.
Yeah. So always a good thing. That's a good thing.
Definitely.
So you have one of your videos to end the show with, huh?
Yes, one of my songs. I'm not only an author of a book, The Mirror Makes No Sense, but I've been writing music since I was 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I actually produced this album. It's called Enslaved. This is one of the tracks in the album. And people could actually go to my YouTube channel, and if they just Google my name, Mark Angelo Cummings, they'll come across my YouTube channel. Or if they go to our website, they'll be able to link to it. I produced a 16-track CD called Enslaved.
Okay.
And this is one of the songs, and it's very much fits to how I felt with being transgender and feeling trapped. Not so much transgender, it's being trapped within myself. And I think a lot of people, whether you're transgender or not, will relate to the song, and it's called Free Me. So we'll end the show with that. Thank you so much, Joe. We've enjoyed this greatly, and looking forward...
I'm looking forward to many more as well here. So let's roll the video. Here we go.
All right. So thank you guys for joining in, and love
everybody.
you. But remember to love yourselves too.
Always.
Absolutely.
Ramblings in my head, I know that I am sad. Voices in my head, I think that I've gone mad. Make them go away before my head explodes. Do you hear them too, or is it just a joke? Free me from these chains. Free me from this world before I go insane. Heal me with your love. Heal me with your touch. Help me mask the pain. Don't you run away like others have before. I will be alright, just give me time, that's all. Look, this little pill can help me mask the pain. Give me just some time and I will be all sane. Don't you worry now, I'll be alright real soon. Once the darkness falls and gets rid of the moon. Free me from these chains. Free me from this world before I go insane. Heal me with your love. Heal me with your touch. Make me whole again. I will be real good, I promise you the world. You will be so loved like never have before. Give you all the gifts and things you want in life. Just hold on a bit and I will be alright. Free me from these chains. Free me from this world before I go insane. Heal me with your love. Heal me with your touch. Make me whole again. It's this peace inside that's carrying you, my girl. Don't you worry now, we'll keep them locked indoors. Throw away the key so he can't hurt no one. He cannot be tamed unless he knows he's loved. Free me from this chains. Free me from this world before I go insane. Heal me with your love. Heal me with your touch. Help me mask the pain. I bet you all had some kind of trouble. Life has pushed you hard. There were times you didn't think you were gonna make it, but God pulled you out. So many years behind these cold steel bars, I've made a mess of you. Not being loved would